Hey everybody, it's Matt from the house, and in this video we're going to show you just a few of our favorite freeride boards for the 22-23 season. Let's check these out. All right, first up, we've got the Never Summer Harpoon. This is actually one of my favorite boards of all time. Super fun board. Really cool thing is that it is in the Freeride series because of the shape and how well it rides, but it's actually a very versatile board. I've actually taken this thing through the park and it actually is not that bad. But again, a little bit more on the freeride side of things. You can ride this thing super fast. It is a volume shift board, so you are gonna buy it a couple centimeters shorter than what you usually would buy. But obviously we've got a very directional shape with a lot more nose, a little bit shorter, squattier tail. But the cool thing too, it makes it really versatile, is that from actually contact point to contact point, it's a lot closer to a twin tip board than you would think. So when you're riding it on flat snow, and especially when you're riding it regular, riding it switch, it actually feels a little bit more like a traditional twin tip board, which is crazy. But in addition to that, we've got their patented rocker camber design, where we've got that rocker in between your feet, camber in the nose and tail. A little bit more in the tail though, and a little bit less in the front, which actually makes this board really smooth riding. But when you lean on this tail and push, it really pushes you in and out of your turns super fast. Also gives you tons of snap and pop. Inside this thing, we've got their Bi-Light fiberglass with the Carbon Max, so we're actually giving you a lot of extra snap and pop in the nose and tail, also taking that pressure from your feet and pushing it towards your contact points, so this board does dig in really well. And we're also doing a nice centered base on this thing, so it is super fast. But again, awesome board that is a little bit more on the freeride side of things, but if you want to dip in the park every once in a while, it has a lot of all-mountain capabilities that you wouldn't expect. All right, next up we have the Ride Smokescreen. This is actually a pretty cool board. They took the Commissioner, which is one of their high-end, go fast, advanced riding boards, and they wanted to make a little more rider-friendly versions of those, a little bit smoother riding. Maybe some of those riders that are more on the intermediate side of things that have no aspirations for going in the park, and they basically want all the benefits of a freeride board. So right off the bat, we've got their classic slime walls, so it has that dampening, so when you do get into those harder, icier conditions, it just want to dig in a little bit better and absorb some of that vibration. We also are doing a mixed glass in this thing with their Carbon Array 3, so we actually have 3 stringers that actually run from here up to the contact points that do a couple different things. So not only are we getting that carbon beyond the bindings to give you more spring and pop, it's also giving you more stability, and it's helping to push that pressure towards your edges so they can leave the board a little bit softer but have it dig like a stiffer board. We're also doing that topless top sheet technology, which makes the board incredibly light but still durable. And obviously is a directional shape, and it's got a little bit of taper as well, so it's gonna have really easy turns, really big float when you get it into the deep snow. Okay, so next up we have the K2 Antidote. This is part of their ever-expanding freeride series of boards, and this thing is actually a super versatile board. A lot of their riders have been riding this thing. It is actually a unisex design, so it does come in some of those smaller sizes for those smaller guys, or even for those girls that demand a little bit more than the standard women's boards. But we do have a directional shape on this thing, and it is a little bit stiffer, so it can handle those higher speeds. It is a traditional cambered board from contact point to contact point, so very powerful, very aggressive, wants to be on edge all the time. We are doing a triaxial fiberglass in this thing, so it's nice and aggressive. In addition to that, we've actually got a lot of carbon as well. We have the Carbon X underfoot here, which is actually making your bindings feel like they're wider, which is adding a ton of stability, but it's also again, pushing that pressure up towards your contact points so they don't have to make the board super stiff, and it's gonna hold an edge like a stiffer board. And then we also have got the carbon stringers that are running completely from tip to tail, so tons of pop, tons of stability in this thing. And in addition to that, we've also got those space glass tips, which are making it incredibly lightweight and reducing the swing weight by a ton. And then a new 3D shaping that's coming into as well. So you're actually getting a little bit more of a catch-free feel. And also when you do get into that deeper snow, having those side pieces turned up a little bit actually gives you a little bit better float in the deep snow. All right, and next up we've got the Gnu Gremlin. This is actually a super fun board. It is a little bit more of a volume shift, so you're gonna drop down a couple centimeters from what you usually would ride. We've got that long nose for a lot of lift in the powder. We got that little bit shorter tail to help it sink, so when you do get into some of that deep stuff, you have to work a lot less to actually get the nose up. But the really cool thing is that the stance is actually not set back that much on the side cut. So when you do get this thing onto some groomers, it actually feels a little bit closer to a regular board than you would think. Inside, we got a mixed glass. We got a layer of biaxial and a layer of triaxial. That way we got the little bit easier, smoother feel of that biax, but then we get that quickness of the triax, kind of a best of both worlds deal. And on the bottom, we've got that centered knife cut base, so super, super fast and really, really easy to take care of. And then for the bend, we have their C3, which is a cambered board, like a traditional camber from contact point to contact point, but it does dip a little bit in the middle. So it does help the board get on edge a little bit quicker, also gives it a little bit of that tipping point when you get into some deep snow. And then when you're not in the deep snow and you're just ripping around on some of the groomers and even some of those harder, icier conditions, we have that magnet traction down the side. So not just giving you 2 contact points, but actually giving you 7 contact points that really rip into those harder, icier conditions and really, really help you hold an edge. All right, and last up, we have the Nitro Pantera. Definitely one of the best looking boards this year. This has been in the lineup for a while. They've changed up the shape on it just a little bit, but still for those guys that want to go fast and charge hard all day long. This thing is super, super stiff. So if you just want to go out and do some light cruising, this is not your board. If you want to go out and go fast and dig trenches all day, 100% get on this thing. Obviously, we've got a directional shape on this thing. They added a little bit of a swallowtail to it, so when you do get into the deep snow, it does help the tail sit down a little bit more. It is a traditional cambered board too, again, for that ultimate aggressive feel. And we do have a triax fiberglass in this thing with their diamond band carbon, so super poppy, super springy, not just off of jumps, but in and out of turns. This thing wants to get from edge to edge right now. And then obviously with the board that rides this fast, we're gonna do that top of the line centered 2.0 base. So again, going fast, floating big, and riding hard is what the Pantera is all about. All right, well, thanks for checking out just a few of our favorite Freeride boards for the 22-23 season. Obviously, there's a lot more at thehouse.com. And if you got any questions about these boards or any of the Freeride boards that we have on the website, definitely leave some comments down below. We're on there every single day trying to answer your questions. We want to make sure we get you into some rad products, but most importantly, we want to make sure that we get you into a board that's actually going to fit you and it's going to fit your specific riding style. Also, make sure to like, subscribe, definitely get that notification bell on too so you can find out when all the new videos drop. Grab yourself a new Freeride board and get out and ride, because any day of riding is a good day of riding.